Well, hello everybody. This is a special Crazy Times What Drives Me Crazy, a little synopsis for round one of the 2016 NFL season. I'm sorry I'm looking like this because I got home, actually got to my parents' house extremely late last night after doing a game in Connecticut. I'll tell you something. What a weekend of football I've had. I got to do color commentating with John Kelly for Franklin High School in Somerset, New Jersey, and they're a season opener against Phillipsburg. And then yesterday I took the lead for Major League Football as the Silver City Wolves won over the Bridgeport Ravens 34-24. That only says one thing. Football is back. Now, you may have noticed on my page, facebook.com/crazytom, that I'm actually deciding to pick all the games this year. Now, of course, last Thursday in the season opener, I had Carolina beating Denver and brutally bad, and I thought it was going to happen, but it didn't quite do so. Graham Gano screwed up, and I thought Denver played absolutely dirty. Cam Newton, I still feel is being mistreated by the NFL. So it's funny because I had somebody who absolutely went nuts on me because I picked the Broncos to finish 7-9. That person ended up blocking me. I mean, come on, how preposterous is that? There are more important things than football. I mean, I know I treat the Dallas Cowboys as a second religion, but for goodness sakes, can't be friends over somebody who's just going to try and be honest about your team? I don't get it. But anyway, me being 0-1, here are my picks for round one. Starting with the 1 o'clock games, I like Tampa to beat Atlanta. It's going to be a very competitive game, but I think Tampa will end up winning a close one. I think Tampa might have a pretty good year because they can't be down in the dumps forever. I like Baltimore to beat Buffalo. It's Rex Ryan, and I think it will probably be a more penalty-filled game than you think, plus the return of Joe Flacco. I think Buffalo loses because it's Rex Ryan, and it's too many penalties, and it's hard to win down at the waterfront at Camden Yards and PSI Net, where the Ravens' nest is. I really do like Houston over Chicago. It's been a buzz team this year. Houston obviously had major problems last year. Bill O'Brien, though, great coach. They might be the most balanced team in the NFL. And Jay Cutler, remember something that I mentioned when I was doing picks with my son Danny, that Jay Cutler has won no more than 6 games in a season since 2012. You wonder if he's on the downside of his career, so might be a little rough for the Bears here. I like Green Bay in a close one against Jacksonville. A lot of people saying Jacksonville is really a buzz team. I think they're a year away, but I think they will give Green Bay all they can handle. I don't think it's going to come down to a prescribed and, shall we say, practiced Hail Mary like we saw 3 times last year. But then again, I really think this could be a game that tells the tale for both of those teams. Keep in mind, though, Green Bay's home opener is not till round 3 because they play to open Minnesota's new stadium next week. I was thinking about San Diego beating Kansas City, but then I was like, wait a minute. Andy Reid always gets off to a good start. And the Chargers, although I think they'll be fine, this is Kansas City's year, so I like the Chiefs. Oakland, I like in a surprise over New Orleans. Yes, I know Drew Brees is a great quarterback, but Oakland is on the rise a little bit, and I just think the Saints don't have what they used to. So I think this could be an up-and-coming game for Oakland, so I'm going to go ahead with them. I like Cincinnati in a close one over the Jets. Their first game in nearly 9 months after basically being screwed over by the officials and losing to Pittsburgh in that wild card game, and they were absolutely screwed. I mean, how do you possibly mess up a game like that? But then again, Cincinnati's been thinking about this all summer long and all spring and summer, and the Jets, they're decent, but Cincinnati, they're not going to get off to a 10 or 11-0 start like last year, but I think they'll just have enough to beat the Jets this week. I do like Philly over Cleveland, even though it's the debut of Carson Wentz. You have to understand, it's Cleveland. It's probably going to be a low-scoring, ugly game like 17-10, but because it's Cleveland, Philly should be able to take this one. I do like Minnesota over Tennessee. The debut of Sam Bradford, of course, taking over for Teddy Bridgewater. Tennessee, they have DeMarco Murray. That's going to help the running game and save Mariota a little bit, but I just don't think they have enough, so I'm going to go with the Vikings. I do like Seattle over Miami. That should be a defensive punch, but I think Seattle will just have enough to win. Plus, talk about a long commute from Miami to Seattle for the season opener. Boy, that's got to be tiring going into the 12th men's den at CenturyLink. so I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I like the Giants over the Cowboys. I know everyone's been saying who Dak for about a month, but the Giants have an improved defense. It's Dak Prescott. He probably will take over the role of Tony Romo in throwing a late interception that cost Dallas the game. So I do like the Giants here, 31-21. But that Witten image from last year still haunts my head in a happy way. It's just too bad that was the one of only 4 happy moments Dallas had last year. But I think they'll have more. It's just not going to be this one here. I do like the Colts to beat the Lions. I think the Lions took a major step back after Calvin Johnson retired. I think Matt Stafford might be pretty bruised up after this, but don't forget, Indianapolis' offensive line is atrocious, just like the Giants is. So they really need to fix things up for Manning on the Giants side and for the Colts, Andrew Luck. So, but I think Luck will do enough and they'll win the game for the Colts. I like Arizona big over New England. Yes, I know Brady suspended the first 4 games of the year, but Arizona wants to make a statement. And New England fans, don't worry. I actually think they will be 1-3 in their first 4 games and still win the division. So don't panic if the final's like 34-13 in this one. For the Monday night games, I like Pittsburgh in a close one over Washington. And the Redskins, I mean, they're still a good team, but they're not very good. Remember, they come from a division that's probably the worst in football. And Pittsburgh, obviously they're battling Cincinnati and maybe in a way Baltimore for a playoff position this year. So I think tougher division wins out and Pittsburgh wins by a field goal. And finally, 49ers over the Rams, probably a very ugly Monday night game, but then again, probably good for the East Coast because everyone will be half asleep. But Chip Kelly will win his debut, and I think the 49ers win by 10. But I don't think it's going to be 51-41. So that's basically it. So once again, the picks for round 1, Tampa, Baltimore, Houston, Green Bay, Kansas City, Oakland, Cincinnati, Philly, Minnesota, Seattle, the Giants, Indianapolis. Sunday night goes to Arizona, and the Monday night games, Pittsburgh and San Francisco. Enjoy the games, everyone, and please take it easy on the alcohol. And remember, you can reach me, of course, at any time, facebook.com/crazytom, or on Twitter, @crazytomshow, or just send me an email, djkrayztom@comcast.net, if you would like to chime in. So there you go. Your DJ Crazy Tom signs out for now. But before I go, remember, 15 years removed today from the worst tragedy in our generation, September 11th. This is not the day to talk about why this happened or why this is not a date, why this is a date that will never have closure. Today's not the day to talk about it. Take time to say a prayer and remember the victims, the families, and the first responders, all those who were involved at the World Trade Center, at the Pentagon, and in Western Pennsylvania. God bless you all on this day, and come back next time for another edition of Crazy Tom's What Drives Me Crazy. Hopefully, I'll have an interesting topic on that day.